My fiancé looked me in the eyes and said his ex was just as important as me. And in that moment, I knew my engagement was already over. Welcome to my YouTube channel. You will find many interesting stories on my channel. If you want to listen to all kinds of stories, then subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon so that every new video will reach you. Let's go to my story. I didn't know a sentence could quietly end a future without raising its voice, but that's exactly what happened the afternoon Ethan Miller looked at me over his coffee and said, calmly and without hesitation, that Claire Thompson was just as important to him as I was, and if I couldn't accept that, then maybe we shouldn't be together. There was no anger in his tone, no accusation, no drama, just certainty, and that made it hurt more than if he had shouted. The cafe around us was full of ordinary life, people laughing, cups clinking, a baby crying somewhere in the background, while inside me, something collapsed so silently that no one could have noticed. I remember staring at his hands, the same hands that had wiped my tears when my father was sick, the same hands that had held mine during late-night walks, the same hands that had placed a ring on my finger 8 months earlier and promised me forever. I nodded, even smiled, because shock doesn't always look like heartbreak. Sometimes it looks like stillness. When I met Ethan, I wasn't searching for love. I was 31, independent, carefully healed from past wounds that taught me how painful it was to love someone who didn't fully choose me. Ethan felt different. He listened when I spoke, remembered details I didn't think mattered, and made me feel seen without trying too hard. On our 4th date, I admitted the truth I usually kept buried, that I had once been someone's second choice and never wanted to feel that way again. And he looked at me with steady eyes and said I never would with him. I believed him because he sounded like a man who knew himself. He never hid his past and told me early on about Claire, his college sweetheart of 6 years, the woman he almost married, the woman who had shared a life with him before me. He said she would always matter, but that chapter was closed, and those words gave me comfort because I thought closed meant finished. For a long time, Claire was just a name. Then she became a presence I couldn't ignore. A message during dinner, a call he stepped outside to answer, a smile that lingered just a little too long. He always had an explanation. She was struggling, she needed advice, she didn't have anyone else. And I told myself that being secure meant being understanding. When he left my apartment late at night because she was crying, I kissed him goodbye. When he canceled our weekend plans because she wasn't doing well emotionally, I told myself love required patience. When he texted her during holidays while sitting next to me, I smiled and said nothing. I wasn't jealous, I felt crowded, like there was always someone else occupying space that should have belonged to us. He would casually say things like, "Claire would love this," while we watched a movie, and each time it felt like a reminder that she was never really gone. When Ethan proposed beside a quiet lake at sunset, candles flickering and his voice trembling as he said he chose me and wanted a life with me, I said yes without hesitation, believing that engagement meant clarity and commitment. That night, wrapped in blankets, I asked him if things would change with Claire now that we were engaged, and after a brief pause, he said he didn't think they needed to, because she was still important to him. I swallowed my discomfort and said nothing, because I didn't want to ruin a perfect moment, and that silence slowly became a habit. Wedding planning exposed what love had blurred. Claire had opinions about venues, dates, and traditions Ethan had supposedly always dreamed of, and whenever I questioned why she was so involved, he said she just knew him well. One afternoon, while standing in front of a mirror and a white dress, my phone buzzed with a message from Ethan saying Claire felt left out and thought she'd be more involved in the wedding, and I stared at my reflection as quiet tears slipped down my face because I couldn't understand how another woman could feel left out of my own future. The conversation that changed everything happened on an ordinary day, without raised voices or drama. I told him I needed boundaries, that I didn't want to feel like I was sharing my fiancé emotionally with someone else, and he listened before calmly telling me that Claire was just as important as I was, and that he wouldn't remove her from his life, even if that meant losing me. In that moment, I realized I wasn't asking him to choose between his past and his present. I was asking him to choose me, and he wasn't willing to do that. I didn't leave right away because love doesn't disappear the moment it's wounded. I tried to adjust, to convince myself I could accept it. But once you hear something like that, you start noticing everything. The way his voice softened when she called, the way he defended her feelings while questioning mine, the way my pain required explanation while hers required protection. One night, I asked him what he would do if Claire asked him to choose, and the pause before his answer told me more than words ever could. The breaking point came when Claire showed up unannounced at our place one evening, smiling politely at me and saying she hoped she wasn't intruding, and Ethan hugged her in a way that felt familiar, intimate, and undeniable. In that moment, clarity washed over me like cold water. I wasn't competing with an ex, I was competing with a past he refused to let go of, and I was losing. 2 weeks later, I packed a suitcase quietly, placed my engagement ring on the kitchen counter, and told him I was leaving. He asked me to reconsider and said love wasn't about exclusivity, and I told him love wasn't about being equal to someone who no longer belonged in the present. He didn't understand, and that was the answer I needed. Healing took time, and I questioned myself endlessly, wondering if I had been too demanding or insecure. But slowly, I began to understand that real love doesn't ask you to compete. Commitment doesn't come with exceptions, and being chosen doesn't mean sharing your place. I later heard that Ethan and Claire never got back together and remained important parts of each other's lives. And for the first time, that knowledge didn't hurt, because I finally understood that when someone tells you that you are just as important as someone else, they are telling you that you are not enough, and love should never feel like a competition you never agreed to enter. If you like this story of mine, please leave a nice comment and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.